Hello America, this is Call of Duty Goddess. Today is March 22nd, 2016. I'd like to do a video about who set up Sheriff Palmer. And it's in reference to this series of videos that I did titled Did Sheriff Palmer Set Up Lavoy and Ammon Part 3, this last one. I first want to thank the person who gave me this information. They have not only given me that information, they've given me much more information. In fact, they have been researching and studying this since it began. And the amount of research that they have done is unbelievable. So I want to show my sincere gratitude to them, although they wish to remain unnamed. I really thank you from the bottom of my heart, unnamed person, and you know who you are. Thank you very much. So let's get started. I'm at the Oregonian here at an article titled Oregon Standoff, Sheriff Stance in Lavoy Finicum Shooting Draws Outrage. And you see this horrible picture of Sheriff Palmer with a gun, and it makes you imagine him at the Finicum shooting where the murder took place, when in reality this was not at the Finicum shooting. This was at a roadblock away from the shooting. So, in this article, which is dated February 9, 2016, by Les Zaitz, it goes on to talk about the day that Lavoy Finicum was murdered on January 26th, and it talks about everything that Sheriff Palmer did that evening. He was at the Grant County building waiting for a meeting to take place, received a call. He became agitated after he received the call. He then spoke to the district attorney, and they went into a room, spoke privately, and left immediately. They left to go to the murder scene of Lavoy Finicum. They were stopped at a roadblock that was prior to the shooting area. So, this is the only article that I could find where it states the following. Carpenter said he and Palmer encountered state police setting up a roadblock at the edge of the rural town of Seneca on the highway. Carpenter said Palmer retrieved his shotgun from his patrol SUV when troopers warned that someone was walking toward them with a gun. That turned out to be a photographer from the Oregonian who was carrying a tripod. But photos of Palmer at the scene with his shotgun later triggered rumors in John Day and on social media that Palmer had helped set up the militants for arrest. Now, putting this into perspective, you would think that any normal person would when you see all these pictures. And keep in mind, this is the only article or anything that I've seen anything like this. And I would have never have seen this if I hadn't went through all of the complaints, because all of the complaints were using this article or another article that was written by Les Zaitz. So, where's the proof that Sheriff Palmer was set up and who did it? Well, right here, Scotta Callister. Does anyone know who she is? I didn't. But this was written on January 27th, the day after Lavoy Finicum's murder. A review of the national news sites this morning shows many posting the photo of Sheriff Palmer working the roadblock on Highway 395. Palmer earlier drew attention for endorsing some of the refuge occupiers' demands, calling them patriots and saying the FBI should leave. Contradiction? Change of heart? A person comments, could his earlier comments have been part of a plan to get them on the road? Scotta Callister replies, oh, like a double agent would be a good spin, but wouldn't make him real popular with his anti-FS friends. So, if you don't know who Scotta Callister is, ladies and gentlemen, meet Scotta Callister. She is part owner of Moyer Enterprises. She is a journalist. Her husband is Les Zaitz. You remember him. He's the author of this article titled Oregon Standoff, Sheriff Stance in Lavoy Finicum Shooting Draws Outrage. See? Right here he is. Les Zaitz. That is his wife, Scotta Callister, Les Zaitz. I guess she thinks she's a big star. she chooses to keep her last name. Let's get a closer look at this. Scott McAllister, January 27th. A review of the national news sites this morning shows many posting the photo of Sheriff Palmer working the roadblock on Highway 395. Palmer earlier drew attention for endorsing some of the refuge occupiers' demands, calling them patriots and saying the FBI should leave. Contradiction? Change of heart? Could his earlier comments have been part of a plan to get them on the road? Oh, it even has the time there. Well, would you look at that? Scott McAllister replies, oh, like a double agent. Would be a good spin, but wouldn't make him real popular with his anti-SF friends. Anybody know exactly when the pics were taken and how long he was at the roadblock? Was it actual participation or a photo op on his part? And who is the guy with him in the photos? In civvies. I'll just leave this up here for a minute and let you gaze at it. These two people are making a lot of money off of the federal government. That's why they do not like Sheriff Palmer. They stand to lose a lot of money. So, now that you know the truth, what do we do with it? This is Call of Duty Goddess signing off, and as always, I've got your 6. And Sheriff Palmer, I've got your 6. A lot of us do.